Sararights 1 p.m. news, coming live from Arua City with me, Alfred, Raul, making the headlines. President Yoweri Museveni comments outgoing Netherlands ambassador for strengthening ties. Vice President retired Major Jessica Lupo and ministers meet Katikiro Mayinga of Buganda Kingdom. State Minister for Energy highlights progress in electricity sector in Uganda. National Resistance Movement (NRM) invests savings 5 billion for local council 1 flag bearers. Uganda People's Defense Forces release a short list of successful candidates. 14 dead and 28 injured as Opit bus crashes into a trailer on Kampala-Gulu Highway. And United States resumes strikes on Iran after Hamas attacks. Now the news in details. President Yoweri Museveni met outgoing Netherlands ambassador Frederik Kospel at his Kisozi farm in Gomba district on July 7, 2026. President Yoweri Museveni praised her for deepening Uganda-Netherlands relations during her tenure, which began in August 2004. He encouraged Dutch investors to take advantage of Uganda's favorable investment climate, particularly in agriculture, energy, and infrastructure. President Museveni thanked her for her contribution to Uganda's diplomatic and development agenda and wished her success in her next assignment. The Vice President, Jessica Alupo, led a delegation of cabinet ministers and the members of parliament on July 7, 2026 to Bulange, Mengo, the Buganda Kingdom headquarters, where they met the Katikiro Charles Peter Mayinga and his deputies, Professor Taha Kawasa and Robert Wagia Nasipura. The meeting coordinated by Haruna Kianuma Kasolo in his role as acting Minister of Foreign Affairs and National Resistance Movement Vice President Chairperson for Buganda, focusing on strengthening ties between the government and the Buganda Kingdom, highlighting cooperation in governance and community development. State Minister for Energy, Okaisha Opolot, on July 8, 2026, disclosed that Uganda's electricity generation capacity has reached 2,098 megawatts with the national access rising to 62%. He emphasized that beyond expanding supply, the focus is now on industrial growth, universal access by 2030, and productive usage of energy in the country. The minister outlined priorities including powering industries, supporting agriculture and manufacturing, integrating renewable energy and smart technologies, and ensuring climate resilience infrastructure in Uganda. The National Resistance Movement Party has invested over 5 billion Ugandan shillings for the upcoming local council 1 elections. The party electoral chairperson Dr. Tango Doi confirmed it on July 8, 2026 that NRM has allocated Uganda shillings 5 billion to support its members in the upcoming local council 1 flag bearers elections. He acknowledged the amount is little compared to the needs of 71,000 villages nationwide. Dr. Tango Doi also announced that on Friday, July 10, 2026, members will gather in village barazas to choose their local council 1 flag bearers, marking it a step in strengthening NRM's grassroots structures in the country. The Uganda People's Defense Forces released a short list of successful applicants for the ongoing nationwide recruitment exercise targeting 10,200 new personnel on July 2026. Acting Defense Public Information Officer Colonel Grace Magezi announced that the lists are available on the official Uganda People's Defense Forces website www.updf.go.ug and at all city and district headquarters. The shortlisted candidates will proceed to physical recruitment with the dates to be communicated soon. Magezi emphasized that the recruitment is free of charge, warning against the fraud and urging and successful applicants to prepare for future opportunities. The acting Foreign Minister, Haruna Kasolo, received the credentials from Lee Sang-ho, the new Korean ambassador to Uganda, and Besmin Hong, the new World Food Program Director for Uganda. Kasoli pledged stronger ties with Korea in trade, agriculture, and education, while Ambassador Lee emphasized cooperation, investment, and innovation. In a separate meeting, Kasolo welcomed Song, highlighting Uganda's partnership with the World Food Program. On food security and school feeding programs, Sangai noted that Uganda's role as a regional food basket is a key paramount to the development of World Food Program activities in the country. Engineer Andrew Chitata, former KCCA Director of Engineering and Acting Executive Director 2008 to 2020, was appointed chairperson of the National Building Review Board, announced by Minister Justice Kasule Lumumba on July 7, 2026. The board will oversee enforcement of building safety standards under the Ministry of Works and Transport following cabinet approval. Other approved members include Irene Chitara, Archbishop Henry Kitundu, Irene Achola, Benon Yiga, and Engineer Crispus, Upoch Richard Adole, and Engineer Betty Naposa. The Cabinet of Uganda approved the Food and Agricultural Regulatory Authority, FARA Bill 2026, creating a new body under the Ministry of Agriculture to regulate food and agro-inputs, announced by Minister Justice Kasule Lumumba in July. The law will consolidate oversight of veterinary medicines, agricultural chemicals, feeds, and food products functions currently split between National Drug Authority and Uganda National Bureau of Standards. The move aims to curb the counterfeits, improve food safety, and boost agricultural productivities, experts say, for exports. Uganda Airlines reports revenue of Uganda and savings about 1.2 billion for financial year 2024-2025, a surprise from 10.3 billion in 2009-2020, making a 62.4% compound annual growth rate. The airline has carried out 1.7 million passengers in 6 years and now serves 16 destinations across Africa, Europe, the Middle East, and Asia. The disclosure came after Works and Transport Minister Fred Byabukama met the airline's top leadership led by Acting Chief Executive Grima Wek, who is steering expansion plans that include 32 routes and a fleet of 16 aircraft by 2030. With being 78 Dreamlines already on Uganda order, airlines now accounts for 27% of passenger traffic at Entebbe, position it as a key regional hub. The High Court on July 7th officially allowed the withdrawal of the petition contesting the election of Major General retired Jim Kwesi Kakundu as Member of Parliament for Rubunjura County. The petition had been filed by opposition candidate Fred Chamweza, who questioned the validity of Mwezi's win. However, neither Chamweza nor his legal team appeared in court and they could not be reached by phone. Justice Shaun Kanke ruled that the petition be withdrawn and awarded costs to the Electoral Commission, thereby confirming Mukhozi's election. The Uganda Media Center will launch the Sauti Uganda National or East African Anthems competition on Friday, 10th July 2026 in Kampala. The event is part of Uganda's broader cultural initiative to promote Kiswahili and strengthen East African unity. The competition will celebrate national and regional anthems, reinforcing Kiswahili's role as Uganda's second official language. Aligning with the East African Community Directive for Regional Integration, this follows Uganda's recent Kiswahili promotion efforts, including compulsory teaching in schools and the Dawati la Kiswahili competition, positioned the anthem contest as both a cultural celebration and symbol for regional cohesion. In the tragic news, at least 14 people have been confirmed dead and 28 injured following a police report an involvement of Opita bus that collided with the stationary trailer on Gulu Kampala Highway. The survivors were rushed to the nearest hospitals for treatment, while bodies were taken to the mortuary in relevant health centers in the area. Authorities have also launched investigations in the crash with emphasis on road safety enforcement and the dangers of poorly parked vehicles on highways. Zimbabwean President Emerson Mnangagwa on Wednesday signed a constitutional amendment into law after they were approved by Parliament, introducing sweeping changes into the country's electoral system. The amendments abolished direct presidential elections, giving Parliament the power to elect the president in a joint sitting, while extending presidential and parliamentary terms from 5 to 7 years. The reforms also postponed the next presidential election from 2028 to 2030, allowing Mnangagwa to remain in office for an additional 2 years. The U.S. military hit targets after 3 commercial tankers were struck by projectiles in the Strait of Hormuz. The attacks targeted Iran air defense systems, coastal radar sites, anti-ship missile capabilities, and more than 60 Israel small boats, aiming to degrade Iran's ability to threaten shipping lanes, though no civilian deaths were confirmed. Washington also revoked Iran's oil export licenses, tightening sanctions. Iran condemned the strikes as a violation of the ceasefire and threatened retaliations. Now, to end our news of 1 p.m., let's have today in history. Today, July 9th, is a significant date globally. Most notable, Argentina celebrates its Independence Day, commemorating its official declaration from Spain in 1816. In 1999, King Hassan II of Morocco passed away, leading to the ascension of King Mohammed VI. 1877, the inaugural Wimbledon Championships began in London, starting the world's oldest tennis tournament. Finally, we wish all our brothers and sisters in South Sudan who are celebrating their independence as being the youngest nation in the world. Keep it Sararight and follow us on our Facebook, our X account, WhatsApp, and other platforms as we bring you all the latest stories coming from Sararight every single Monday to Friday. Goodbye.